Sora has the potential to be great, but does Sora's owners actually want to see it succeed? In this video, we're going to talk about why Sora will never be great if it does not fix these 5 things first and fast. What's going on, everyone? Paul Donis Maximus here. Thanks for checking out the AI Filmmaking Advantage, where here we talk about how to make and monetize AI filmmaking. And I'm following up the previous video that I made about Sora once it was released a few days ago. In that video, I pretty much did a complete walkthrough of the tool, as well as some of my first initial impressions after running some of the text to video prompts and also performing some image to video prompts. And so after playing with Sora for a bit, testing some things out, looking at all of the other feedback other creators have had about Sora on X and on YouTube, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the direction Sora needs to take to 1, completely clean up this botched rollout of Sora, and 2, ensure its users that this is not something that was nothing more than just a money grab. And before we get into that, I do want to let you guys know that I just recently released my channel membership. And basically, if you're interested in supporting the channel, getting a chance to connect with myself on a deeper level, as well as getting some cool bonuses and perks along the way. For instance, I'm pretty sure a lot of you would be interested in receiving up to 15% off on the upcoming AI Cinematographer's Mid-Journey Playbook training that I'm releasing very soon. And this is one of the ways that you'll be able to save a bit of money on that training that won't be offered anywhere else at any other time. I currently have 2 different tiers, and if you're wanting to know more about everything that you get when you become a member of this channel, then be sure to click the link below this video for more information on how to get started. And with that said, let's get right into the video. I don't plan to make this a very long video. As some of you guys know, some of my videos can go as long as 30 minutes or longer. So I'm going to try to keep this very concise. Let's get right into it. And so it turns out there's actually one more thing that I need to point out about Sora before we get into the video. I actually just came about this information not too long ago, because I'll be completely honest, I did not know what I'm about to show you right now. And so this is Tim, and his channel is Theoretically Media. I also follow this channel, and Tim does excellent work on this channel. I suggest you check it out as well. He's also been doing his own deep dives within Sora, and I went and watched his latest video and came upon this information.
To clear the air, in case you weren't aware, the version of Sora that we got is not the daddy model that we have seen publicly displayed over the last 10 months. In fact, just a day before Sora's official release, there was some suspiciously leaked bootleg footage of Sora from an event in London in October. And this is the version of Sora that I think we were all expecting.
Right. This was one of the reasons why I was very hyped about Sora being released, because again, this was showing up all over X, and they kind of leaked this about a week or so ago. And I'm like looking at this footage, I'm like, man, this is amazing. But if you heard what Tim just said, the version that we got is not this version. And so I actually commented on his video where I said, so instead of Sora, we got Sorta. And he's going to continue a bit more. So let's go ahead and just watch the rest of this.
And that is obviously not what we got. And just to be clear, I don't consider this a bait and switch. In the weeks leading up to the Sora release, OpenAI was pretty forward with the fact that we were getting a turbo model, not, Big Daddy Sora. And that version of Sora does exist. It's just kind of cordoned off, because it's really, really expensive.
So again, I wasn't really aware that OpenAI was telling us that we weren't getting the main version of Sora and that we were getting a turbo version. But again, I'm not always plugged into all of the updates that's going on. Tim is. He even has enough knowledge to where sometimes the companies that he's working with has him sign NDAs. And for some of you who don't know what an NDA is, it's basically a non-disclosure agreement. So again, as you just heard, the version of Sora that we got is not the main version of Sora. We basically got Sorta. And although Tim says that it shouldn't be thought of as a bait and switch, I honestly don't know what else to call it. Because if you put out that badass footage that they released in London with the Vikings and all of that, then why release that and then say, oh, by the way, that footage that you got, I know that was awesome, but that's not what you're getting. You're getting a watered down version. You're getting a light version of Sora. And to me, that's the very definition of a bait and switch. But what do you guys think? So first things first, OpenAI has to fix the plus tiered features for Sora. And the reason is this: forcing a watermark and not allowing human image to video generations for ChatGPT Plus users essentially makes Sora, for people paying $20 a month, an experimental B-roll tool. Again, as I pointed out previously in my other video on Sora, or you've maybe even discovered this on your own, if you are a ChatGPT Plus user, if you try to upload any media containing people, because again, if you went somewhere and you created image to video images, if you try to upload any images containing people, you will get hit with this notification that tells you that your media contains people. And if you're wondering how they can figure this stuff out, well, if you are a ChatGPT user, then you know that ChatGPT has something called vision, meaning you can upload images and ChatGPT can determine what those images are. They can even give you descriptions of the images, and it can even understand the words in the images. As a basic example, if I uploaded this screenshot right here to ChatGPT and told it to give me the text in this screenshot, it will take all of this text and output it to demonstrate that it understands the text within the image. So long story short, again, they have the capability, they have the technology to determine if you are trying to upload an image with people in them. So again, the notification says your account does not currently support videos with uploaded media containing people. If you upload a photo or video that contains people in the video, it will fail to generate and you will not be charged any credits. So if you understand that, then that means that you would essentially only be able to upload something like these photos, which are photos that I created in Flux. That's number one. And then number two, here's the watermark, which I know some of you guys have mentioned that you see the watermark in the videos that I uploaded in the previous video, and that's because I didn't realize that this is where I would need to come to click download without watermark. I was basically just clicking right here and click download, but I don't know why they don't put download without watermark here. But again, I wasn't aware of that and I wanted to move very quickly, so I just clicked download, and then on all of them, that's essentially what I did. So thinking about that, you're relegated to making something like spaceships with watermarks, or videos with animals, or videos of landscapes. But it doesn't matter because anything that you generate on the Plus plan is going to have the watermark. So it's essentially, as I've said, an experimental B-roll footage tool. And I'm pretty sure if you've already got something like Hailuo, or you've got Kling, or you've got Luma Dream Machine, there's really no need for an experimental B-roll tool in your toolbox, which, let's be honest, at that point, Sora is pretty much useless to you. And again, I don't understand what their thinking was behind this, but why would they assume anyone would care about making a bunch of videos that they really can't do anything with? You mostly see the watermark on free tiers of other tools, and you only can remove the watermark once you start paying for that tool. But here, you're already paying for ChatGPT Plus, and they've given you a watermark. And again, I don't really understand the reasoning why they would do something like that, knowing that Sora is pretty much going to be useless to you because of the watermark. So with that said, they should increase the price a bit to match other existing platforms. Otherwise, there's really no incentive for you to use Sora, and this will continue to look like a pure money grab. So again, don't want to beat that dead horse. They're forcing a watermark on you and not allowing you to create human image to video generations. And even if you were to create videos that were not humans, with the watermark on anything that you create, Sora is pretty much useless to you as a ChatGPT Plus user. And again, to be honest with you, it just sounds like they just tacked on Sora sort of as a useless feature at that point. Because if you think about OpenAI, their main customers are huge corporations who analyze lots of data, and they're mostly using ChatGPT, and they're really going to have to address that and do something about that if they really expect Sora to be anything more than it currently is now, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Number two, OpenAI needs to fix the prompt adherence for Sora ASAP. Now, I'm pretty sure some of you may have seen some of the videos either on X or elsewhere, especially when it comes to gymnastics, where Sora just looks ridiculous. In fact, if you go over to X and type in Sora gymnastics, I'm pretty sure you've seen some of these videos. Guys, this is ridiculous. And others have done other tests where they've shown different platforms, and honestly, a lot of them struggle with gymnastics as well. Apparently, they're showing right here where Runway gets it a little bit better. And here's another video where it just goes off of the rails again, and it just doesn't look good at all. And again, most of us was expecting that we were going to get the main version of Sora, the badass version that showed the Vikings fighting and things like that. But it turns out we didn't get that version. We got Sora Lite. And I'm even going to demonstrate some of the very, very simple prompts that I ran through Sora and how it handled my prompts. Like, this is pretty much universal and across the board. Mostly everyone has complained complain about the prompt adherence with Sora. So here's one of the images that I created in Midjourney. This is the character reference version of my consistent character Danny, as imagined in Midjourney, and I put in a simple prompt that says handheld shot of a young woman walking confidently through a retro futuristic hallway. And as you can see, it completely changes the scene. So I'm expecting Danny to walk forward, and not only is she walking away from the scene in the background changes completely, and then she's got that exorcist thing going on to where her head spins around. And we're going to try the second shot of that. Now, this one is not terrible, but I don't know what's going on with that, where she goes backwards and then she flips her head back around. And arguably, I would say that's not the same person. It's very close, but you know, that just does not look good whatsoever. And actually, the only thing that I wouldn't say really worked, it's just that I didn't put a prompt in the third roll of this, and this is what I got. So that absolutely looks like Danny. Nothing changes, no weird, let me look backwards and then go forward. But it's a shame that the only way that I was able to get something like this was to not add a prompt at all. So we're definitely not going to get too far with Sora, trying to use it as an image to video generator without prompting it. So again, number 2, one of the things they need to fix ASAP is the prompt adherence. And I've seen other comments on X where people are saying that it's because they've heavily censored Sora. Again, apparently there's heavy censorship taking place within Sora. They're saying that that is the reason why the prompt adherence sucks. And again, if they want Sora to be anything more than what it currently is, which is basically a useless add-on to ChatGPT, an expensive add-on at that, they're going to need to fix prompt adherence ASAP. Number 3, OpenAI needs to make Sora more accessible price-wise for faster feedback and growth. And here's the reason. $200 is a very high barrier to entry, which results in fewer users, because I would argue that probably 80% of my audience has not signed up for Sora because it's so expensive. And if you have fewer users, this results in much less data. Now let's look at something like Hailuo AI, aka Minimax. Their lowest plan, which is the one that I'm on, is the $9.99 per month plan. And it gives you bonus credits for daily login. It gives you 1,000 credits per month. And I would say pretty much 99.9999% of my viewing audience are able to afford $10 per month. Again, you probably spend more than that at Starbucks per week. And it is because you can get in on Hailuo at $10 per month, which also removes the watermarks. It allows Hailuo to have a very large user base, which allows them to get lots of data very quickly. And as you can see from this screenshot right here, they've just released even more updates. So because they can have a large user database, because of the low barrier to entry, which is $10 per month, this allows them to get data and feedback faster, which also allows them to grow faster. Which brings me to the second bullet point in number 3. The reasons platforms like Kling, Hailuo, Runway, and Luma can grow as fast as they do is because the lower price point allows for more users, which allows for more data, which allows for faster feedback on what is working or not. And again, as I just showed with the example with Hailuo, this is why you see those platforms shipping updates so frequently. Sora is really going to struggle with that because, again, just because they tacked on Sora for ChatGPT Plus users, I think it's safe to say that if you have ChatGPT Plus, but you can't generate humans with image to video, and you can't remove the watermark, all of those ChatGPT Plus users are going to pretty much disregard Sora and not even give it a second thought. Again, Sora is pretty much useless to them as an AI video generation tool. Oh wow, look at that. They gave me more credits. I don't know what that's all about. Maybe because everybody's so pissed at how the rollout went, but they only give you 10,000 credits on the Pro plan. I opened this menu because I was going to make the point to say that they're only relying on the handful of Pro users for Sora because, again, OpenAI's main clients are huge organizations or maybe even mid-sized or small organizations that use ChatGPT for lots of data analysis and things like that. Those organizations probably don't even care about Sora. It's only us filmmakers that are going to be utilizing both ChatGPT ChatGPT and Sora. And again, that's an even smaller pool. And so how can you get the data and the feedback that you need in order to improve the platform if you're not getting a lot of data to begin with, because the pool of users is so small? That is something that is really going to hinder them in terms of being able to grow this platform and get the data they need in order to make it better. So they're really going to have to do something about that price point. Now, all of those things that I've been previously saying in this video brings me to number 4. OpenAI probably needs to decouple Sora from ChatGPT and decide if they are truly going to invest in the product or if it will remain something whose only purpose was to be added to ChatGPT Plus and Pro as an afterthought. So that is so important. I am going to read it one more time before I go into my analysis. OpenAI probably needs to decouple Sora from ChatGPT and decide if they are truly going to invest in the product or if it will remain something whose only purpose was to be added to ChatGPT Plus and Pro as an afterthought. Let's quickly take a look at something like YouTube. YouTube, which was purchased by Google in October of 2006, pretty much is its own thing within Google. If you think about how YouTube operates, you would assume that it is its own company. I don't work for Google. I don't know how much input the parent company Google has into how things run within YouTube itself. But as you can clearly see, YouTube has its own CEO. The revenue from YouTube as of 2003 was $31.5 billion. Also, look at the products within the YouTube ecosystem. They have YouTube Kids, YouTube Music, YouTube Premium, YouTube Shorts, and YouTube TV. So it should be completely obvious what I'm getting at about how YouTube is run as pretty much its own thing within Google. Sora, on the other hand, is very much still interconnected with OpenAI. And for it to really get the investment and the focus that it needs to have so that it could be just as good as something like a YouTube, not necessarily become YouTube, but I'm trying to point out the focus that it would need to have in order for it to really excel. Sora needs to be spun off into its own thing. It needs to have its own CEO, and it needs to have the focus and dedication that something like YouTube has. That is the only way that I see Sora having any kind of success, and that is the only way that they could really prove to people that they're actually serious about Sora. Because right now I feel that Sora is really not OpenAI's focus. It was basically like, yeah, we can do that video generation stuff too. They basically didn't want to be left out of the video generation race. But if you think about somebody like Kling, or if you think about somebody like Runway ML, that's all they do, and therefore they're going to continue to kick Sora's ass because that's their only focus. And so I'll say it once again, until Sora gets the focus and dedication that something like YouTube does, or how these companies like Hailuo and Luma Dream Machine are laser focused on that particular product, and if OpenAI continues to treat Sora as pretty much an add-on to their ChatGPT model, it will never be great, and it can never be great. Number 5, OpenAI needs to ship an improved version of Sora to help mitigate their botched rollout of the software ASAP. And again, I don't know, maybe that's part of what this credit top-up thing was. I mean, I was literally at 8,895 credits, and I opened this thing today and I'm at 18,895, so it looks like they gave me 10,000 credits more, but it still doesn't fix the underlying problem that the software as it stands today sucks. And if you go over to Theoretically Media and watch Tim's entire video that I showed earlier, he basically ran out of credits trying to get Sora to do what he needed it to do. Now on the Pro plan, you get unlimited generations in relaxed mode, but again, as we've shown, prompt adherence sucks. There's also the issue of the heavy censorship, which doesn't give you the generations that you are expecting. And then there's also the bigger issue of finding out that we didn't even get the version of Sora that we thought that we were going to get, because as I mentioned, instead of Sora, we got Sorta, and they honestly can't think that people are just going to be satisfied with what they gave us. And it also begs the question, how will they even address rolling out updates if now we know that we didn't even get the main version of Sora? Like, are they going to just slowly carve out bits and pieces of the main version and and pump those over to us little by little? Or are they going to continue keeping the main version from us, keeping it walled off, and then just have their team work on the watered down version that they gave us? I don't know. I don't work at OpenAI. I don't know anyone that works at OpenAI. I don't have any insight as to how those updates will work. So again, guys, that's just my take. I believe that Sora will never be great until they fix those 5 top things that I just ran through. We can clearly see the potential for it to be a great tool, but it is a travesty that they're charging a premium price for a subpar experience. So what are your thoughts? Is there anything else missing from that top 5 list that you feel OpenAI needs to do for Sora in order for it to be truly great? Let me know in the comments below this video, and also be sure to like the video if you got any value from my analysis, and also be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you'll be the first to be notified when new videos about Sora and anything related to AI filmmaking drop from the AI Filmmaking Advantage. So once again, my name is Paul Adonis Maximus. Thanks for checking out this video. Please join me in the next one.